You know, this could be my 13 o'clock pipe. Welcome to the Tainted Tavern.
Welcome to the Tainted Tavern. Come sit inside with me. We'll talk about our musings and devices we've been using. So come into the Tainted Tavern.
Okay, hello. Today I'm smoking some Peterson's Luxury Flake in a no-name briar that I've had for a great many years, but it's a lovely little smoker. And I'm drinking some Peterson's. I'm drinking Murphy's Stout. So two Irish heavyweights together there. Yeah, I picked up a tin of Haunted Bookshop tobacco today, and I don't know why I'm letting it bother me all of a sudden, but because I should be used to it by now. But Tainted Bookshop, which is a blend from Cornell and Deal, you can now get it over here in the UK, so I've picked up a tin. An Tainted Bookshop has some lovely artwork on the tin. It tells us on the back that it's created by the late Bob Ranowski and named after Christopher Morley's literary masterpiece. Tainted Bookshop is a robust ribbon-cut mixture merging burley, Virginia and a hint of Perique, a smoke steeped in tradition and character. But the Tainted Bookshop has some great artwork on the tin. That is, if you're in America. Over here in the UK, you just get these health warnings. Health warnings. Health warnings. Talk about Big Brother, which is why I've titled this video 13 o'clock pipe, because of course George Orwell's famous novel starts with a line that goes something like, "It was a cold April morning and the clocks were striking 13," something like that. But I understand, you know, the health warnings being placed on tins of tobacco, but they really go over the top. Now, there's no need of it. You can have one health warning. We know, or at least we understand what they say about tobacco use, and undoubtedly it is bad for you, but I've said this before and I'll say it again, there's a world of difference between constant cigarette smoking and the occasional pipe in which you don't inhale the tobacco in any case. But we know it's bad for you, but we really don't need all of these health warnings, which just makes everything absolutely yucky looking. I mean, you know, I should think myself lucky, I suppose, because at least the images on this one are not quite as bad as they are on some. But we've got smoking kills, quit that now. We've got on the back, tobacco smoke contains over 70 substances known to cause cancer. And just in case if we missed that, it's going right around the outer part of this tin. We've got quitting will improve your health, and we've got a photo of a cigarette being stubbed out there in an ashtray, which is not relevant to this stuff. It is not cigarette tobacco. This is pipe tobacco, and there is a world of difference. But the health Nazis, or the big brothers of the health board, really don't make that distinction. They don't separate it at all. And it is scary sometimes. We really are living in a world which is not totally unlike that created by George Orwell in his book 1984. I mean, in 1984, the population was constantly under surveillance with telescreens. The UK is the most, there are more CTC cameras in the UK than anywhere else in the world. In terms of the size of the country, it's everywhere. We're constantly being surveilled. And in the novel, of course, they had the telescreens, which were watching you constantly, and yet we choose now by choice. A lot of us have got smart speakers in our houses which are monitoring what we say, supposedly listening for keywords to wake them up, such as Alexa, what's the time, or something or other. The ironic thing, though, is that in Orwell's novel 1984, smoking wasn't vilified. In fact, it was encouraged, though there were only two types. There were only one type, rather, of smoking product available, and that was Victory cigarettes or Victory tobacco. And apparently Orwell describes it in one bit. It was dry and nasty, and quite often the leaf would fall out of the cigarette too before you could even get it alight. But you're in 2026, our version of 1984, we've got the surveillance, we've got everything else, but the powers that be are trying to stamp smoking out completely. And I can understand the motives, partly understand the motives behind that, because of course the experts regarding health right across the board say that smoking is bad for you. But they don't make any distinction between cigarettes, pipes, and cigars even. Everything's lumped into one, and there is a world of difference between each of those. So, Big Brother, indeed. You know, it's annoying. It is. You know, it's really become too draconian, because with these health warnings, for instance, there would be nothing stopping them making companies, tobacco companies, having a wrapper over the tin that said smoking kills and smoking does whatever it does, but leaving the original artwork underneath as is, because, you know, it would make it a much more attractive tin for pipe smokers such as myself. But they don't want that. They don't want it to be attractive. Dirty, yucky advert. Yucky habit. But it does make me kind of annoyed. But I see some pipe smokers on YouTube, and they hold up their tin like this, and they've either peeled this all off or covered it over with a different sticker. Sometimes rather than saying smoking kills, they'll put an S there so it says smoking skills. I just haven't got the time nor the energy to do that. But what I am really annoyed with is the way it just disrupts the artwork on the tin. I don't think that's valid for any reason, health or otherwise. This Peterson Luxury Flake is really nice. We're having a little bit of rain outside, very mild, very light rain. But it's got to be the first rain we've had in close on 4 weeks, I think, and the garden doesn't need it. Yeah, 1984 is a great novel, great story. Of course, the main character there is Winston Smith. He falls in love in the book, and then he starts to rebel against the Big Brother. There are posters everywhere in that world saying Big Brother is watching you. Of course, he's taken away and tortured and left a broken man at the end. I mean, George Orwell obviously meant the novel as a parable, a warning of what could happen if you allow too much government control. And maybe that's what's happening these days. The governments are controlling us too much. They passed an absurd law over here in the UK, and I don't know the exact dates involved in this, but if you were born after such and such a year, you'd never be able to buy cigarettes, because as each year went by, you know, it would up a bit. So you would, even when you were 18, 19, 21, you still wouldn't be able to buy tobacco products because you were born before such and such a date. So at the moment, the smoking limit to smoke is 18. It would be 19, it would be 20, it would be 21, 22, 23, you know, he'd be 65 and he'd be unable to buy tobacco products. I think the thinking behind that is, by the time that these people who were born after such a date that they never allowed to smoke, by the time they get of what is at the moment smoking age, all of the smokers would have died off, so there will be no smoking, a total smoke-free society. I can't see them ever achieving it. And history tells us that prohibition never works in any case. So I think the anti-smoking lobby will get worse, and I think as pipe smokers we will experience a lot worse. Higher taxes are a certainty. Less and less places where we can partake in this wonderful hobby. But I think one day there will be some sort of backlash. I mean, I wouldn't like to see a total turnaround. I wouldn't like it to be as it once was, where you could smoke practically everywhere. But the way it is now is way too strict. Well, let's check public houses, pubs. For instance, they should be allowed to have a separate smoking room with extractor fans and so forth. So, customers who wanted a smoke, be it a cigarette, a pipe, or a cigar, could go into the smoking room without going out on a cold winter's night. That should have been allowed. It'd keep the rest of the pub smoke free, and by having the smoking room having really good quality extractor fans, there could be rules over how effective the extractor fans had to be. So by having that, then smoke wouldn't be mingling into any of the other parts of the establishment. They could have done that, but no, they don't. They don't want to. They completely taken a draconian stance, an absolute stance. You shall not do this, and that will not work in the long run. I'm gonna probably do a full review of this haunted bookshop over the next week sometime when I get it open, because I've reviewed Haunted Bookshop previously, but that was a sample I was kindly sent by a viewer of this channel, so thumbs up to Craig. And that had a month or two age on it, so I'm going to do a first impression of what this is like fresh from the tin over the next week or so. I've got so much coming on the Tainted Tavern. I've got a couple more music videos I want to do. I've got one I think will be really entertaining to pipe smokers and people who come here for other type things, called How Rock and Roll Vanished Up Its Own Arse. I think that's going to be a rant video. I think that might prove quite popular. I'm getting a nice nuttiness off this. I believe it's Virginia Burley. I think the nuttiness is coming from the Virginia, from the Burley rather. But I'm definitely getting that summer meadow type, is how I describe it, summer meadow type taste that you do get from golden Virginias especially. I can hear the rain pitter-patting on the roof here. Strange, isn't it? We always moan about the weather over here in the UK, and especially in South Wales. Oh, it's always raining, we moan. And yet when we don't see rain for a month or so and it's constantly warm temperatures, we start moaning about that. It's not raining heavy, but we do need a bit of rain, so my garden will be really grateful for that. It's starting to look a bit sorry for itself. It's in full bloom. Towards the end of July, August is especially a good month in this garden. So we do need a bit of rain. The tobacco also goes really well with the stout. I've been on a bit of a kick lately with stout beers. I've generally got some Guinness in the fridge, but this month I've been trying a lot of different stouts. I've had a couple of stouts from craft breweries that I can't really think of art, but I've had offhand. But I've had Brewdog's Black Art. I've had Black Avon, which is a Scottish stout, which is on a very good price in Lidl's. I've had Murphy's, of course, which I'm drinking now. I've had several stouts, and they're all different from one another. Now, I see so many videos saying, oh, this stout is a Guinness beater. I don't know about that. I think it, if I'm in a certain frame of mind, perhaps only a Guinness will do. But this Murphy's, for instance, I fancy this is more like, it's closer in terms of taste to a milk stout than Guinness. More of a coffee flavour to this. It's good. The Bellhaven I thought was exceptionally good. That's a Scottish one, which is on sale in Lidl's at the moment. Less than £5 for 4 cans. Is really good. Not a stout, but another beer I've been drinking a lot of lately is John Smith. Because they've got a widget in there now, so you get a smooth pint, like it's just been pulled in your local pub in the Tavern. Yeah, okay for a nice quiet pint of an afternoon. Because it's low in terms of alcohol. I think it's about 3.4%, something like that. So it's a sessionable beer. It's good. Yeah, it's Peterson's Luxury Flake, really good. But back to the restrictions against smoking, the heavy taxation on smoking, the horrendous looking warnings that adorn every tobacco tin, every pack of cigarettes, every cigar box. I don't know where that's going to end, but I do believe one day there will be a backlash. It's wrong, isn't it? Pipe tobacco especially used to have distinctive qualities, Clan, for instance, would have that tartan design on his pouch. Condo would have the green Condo design, or the brown if it was Condo Flake. St. Bruno had the St. Bernard dog, and a kind of, is it a yellowy or a sandy colour, creamy colour? Yeah, I don't know what colour you'd call that. Nowadays, the government get its own way. Everything's got to look exactly the same and be a yucky type of green and covered in warnings. Pipe tobaccos do still manage to show a little bit of their identity. For instance, the Haunted Bookshop here does have a little bit of the Haunted Bookshop tin art there. It's the same if you go into a supermarket and buy Clan or Condo. There is a little bit on the pouch of the original artwork, but the majority of the pouch is made up of that minging green colour that they use in the elf warnings. Is it 2026 or is it 1984? That's the question. Screw you, big brother. As I say, as pipe smokers, we're taking part in a quiet rebellion. We buck in the system. We are doing what we want to do. We're not hurting anyone. We enjoy what we're doing. We enjoy the hobby, so we are going to partake. We are not going to be told what to do. We are not sheep or cattle that can be herded about. We are people. We are independent thinkers. So welcome to the quiet rebellion. We've got a rallying point for the quiet rebellion here at the Tainted Tavern. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. It really helps. It doesn't cost you anything. It really helps. Leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Share the shit out of it. You'll see the notification bell underneath. Click on that to be notified next time I upload a video. And there's a lot more coming from the Tainted Tavern. So click that bell and you won't miss anything. And thanks for coming. So cheers. Yakida. Solange. And come back soon.
Please come back soon.